Welcome to the Smart Business Revolution.
Revolution.
You want a revolution?
You say you want a revolution?
Revolution.
The revolution?
It's going on right now.
Welcome to The Revolution, the Smart Business Revolution podcast, where we ask today's most successful entrepreneurs to share the tools and strategies they use to build relationships and connections to grow their revenue. Now, your host for The Revolution, John Corcoran.
Okay, hey, welcome everyone. John Corcoran here. I'm the host of the Smart Business Revolution podcast, where I talk with CEOs, founders, and entrepreneurs of companies and organizations like YPO, EO, Activation Blizzard, LendingTree, OpenTable, Act Software, and many more. I'm also the co-founder of Rise 25, where we help connect B2B business owners to their ideal prospects and referral partners. And I'm very excited today because my guest is our friend, Adrienne Richardson. She's a paid traffic expert and business strategist. She's also the founder of Powerplayer Media and the host of the Players in Business and Life podcast, which we've been so fortunate to be able to help her with. And she's just done a tremendous job on that. Before we get into this interview, this episode is brought to you by Rise 25 Media, which I co-founded with my business partner, Dr. Jeremy Weiss. And our mission is to connect you to your best referral partners and customers. And we do that through our Done For You podcast and content marketing solution. And I firmly believe, you want to talk to smart people. You want to be able to pick their brain and hear what they're thinking, especially in this fast-moving economic environment. You need to have a podcast because it gives you the opportunity to talk to smart people and to share their wisdom with the world, which is just a wonderful treat for someone like me. So go to Rise 25 Media and you can learn more about that. So Adrienne, what I'm curious to know in this quick live that we're going to do here is, things are changing really rapidly. This is end of March 2020. And I want to know about the face of marketing, but particularly paid traffic. What I'm hearing is that costs are going to go down, and it's really a great opportunity for businesses to pour some money into marketing. So tell me about what you're seeing on the ground with paid traffic.
Yeah. Thank you, John, so much for having me on. This is a topic that everybody's been reaching out to me and asking about. And there's two things that are happening right now that are causing costs to go down on Facebook. And number one, that is the scared people are turning off their ads. So they are saying, I don't want to spend any money. I'm going to cut my expenses. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't even know what to do. And so there's some scared people that are turning their ads off, and that's causing there to be more inventory than there usually is. And we all know that when demand goes down, right, costs go down. So the other thing that's causing the cost to go down is that everybody and their mother is on Facebook right now. The whole world is on Facebook right now because that's how they're
the traffic is up. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So they're connecting with each other. Facebook has the world's attention because that's where everybody is connecting with their friends and family. That's how they're, helping to not feel like they're so isolated and alone. And it's replacing that, what they're used to see, connecting with people at work or wherever. And they're using Facebook for that. And so because everybody's attention is there and all the eyeballs are there, you got a lot more people clicking. And the more people who click on your ads, the more your cost goes down. So cost is going down because scared people have left and turned off their ads. So it's not as competitive right now. And the second thing is because everybody's attention is there, more people are paying attention and more people are clicking on ads. And the more people who click on your ads, your costs go down. So those are the two things that are causing costs to really come down on Facebook.
Interesting. And now one of the arguments for staying the course and continuing to, do paid traffic and do marketing that I've heard, and I imagine you subscribe to this is we're going to come out of this sooner or later, right? After 9/11, people thought, oh man, there's a period of time where people think it seems like we're never going to come out of it. Well, we did. And lots of amazing companies emerged after 9/11. Same thing, 2008. Eventually we came out of it. Same thing's going to happen here. We're going to come out of it. And there's going to be a real divide between companies that, as you said, got scared and just went completely veered off course. And then they're going to get further and further behind where their competitors stayed the course, remained disciplined, and continued to invest in the business. So talk a little bit about the importance of that philosophy.
Yeah, well, I think that, listen, it's totally normal to get scared. Nobody who's alive right now has ever been through anything like we've been through right now. And so there's no shame or anything in being fearful and being afraid as long as you don't live there, right? Like we all visit there, but then it's
Right.
like, okay. And the businesses who are staying in the game, they're staying visible, right? They're staying in front of people. And so when you turn off your ads and you kind of disappear and go into a little cocoon and just say, well, I'm just going to ride this thing out. I'll wait for it to pass over. It's very easy for people to forget about you, and while we all want to think that we're unforgettable, you will no longer be top of mind, especially if people in your space, your other competitors, are staying top of mind and staying in front of people, staying connected, being supportive. People are going to remember them and they're going to want to stay connected to them and do business with them. And those that are kind of just disappearing, it's going to be easy to forget them, unfortunately.
And what are companies that are continuing to do paid traffic on Facebook? What are they doing right now that's working or that's successful? What tips do you have for them?
Yeah, so there's a couple things that you could do right now. And the very best thing you could do out of anything I could tell you to do with your ad copy is to join the conversation. So people who are leaving their ad copy as it was, let's say you have ads that you've been running for a while and they work really well. Well, if you don't adjust your ad copy to acknowledge what's going on in the world, you don't join the conversation, you're kind of going to appear tone deaf and like you're not really paying attention or that you don't even care what's going on in the world.
I've seen a few of those in the last week, and it just baffles you. You look at it and you're like, this, like, they need to turn this thing off. It's completely off. Yeah.
Yeah. And even your images, are your images kind of promoting something that people can't do right now? Are you encouraging people to go and hang out with friends and they can't do that right now?
They're clinking champagne glasses.
Right. Yeah. So those people who are joining the conversation, it doesn't mean that you necessarily have to even mention coronavirus or mention COVID-19. And I actually don't even think you need to mention it, but you're acknowledging, this is what I tell my clients to do. You're acknowledging the way that this pandemic, this crisis is affecting the problem that you solve. So let's say that I'm a marriage counselor and I help people save their marriages. Your ad copy should change to acknowledge how is this current situation affecting marriage. Or let's say that you are a tutor, again, change your ad copy to acknowledge how is this pandemic affecting students and their learning. So think about your expertise, the problem you solve for people. How is this showing up in their life in relation to that problem? And you need to adjust your ad copy to reflect that conversation they're having in their head and the things that they're worried about.
And then I guess the question is, how often do you change that language? I guess it depends on how bad it gets. If it gets worse, as the narrative, you kind of have to be aware of what the general conversation is happening, or what people are talking about.
Yeah, a perfect example of this is when this started to happen, ads actually got a little worse. Before, there was a moment in time when ads were getting more expensive for a moment, when everybody was talking about all of this and they were going crazy and they weren't clicking on ads. They were ignoring ads because there was this frenzy of when everything kind of hit the fan all at once. It was around March 14th-ish. All my clients, March 14th, you can look at the spreadsheet and ads tanked. And so the first video or announcement that I did telling people how to fix this problem was I was saying ads have tanked. They've completely gone down. Well, within a matter of a week or 10 days, the game changed and actually costs were getting much lower. And I started to get the hate comments on my ads of what are you talking about? You don't know what you're talking about. Ads are cheap right now. And I was like, I got to change the message here, right? Because that's not the case anymore. Even though that ad was doing really well, now it's not higher cost anymore. It's lower. So you do need to be nimble and probably be changing your messaging more often to reflect, again, what is going on right now and how are people thinking about it and feeling about it.
Interesting. I know you're incredibly busy, so thank you for carving out the time, Adrienne, to talk to us about how things are changing. This is fascinating. What other considerations, before we let you go, what other considerations or thoughts do you have or insights do you have as far as this topic goes before we wrap things up?
Yeah, well, I touched a little bit on the imagery in your ads. Just again, look at the imagery in your ads. Make sure that you're not showing pictures of things that people can't participate in right now or that would be insensitive to the way people are feeling right now. And then the other thing conversation I've been having with a lot of my clients is around their offers. I am from the high ticket world. I'm used to selling high ticket products. Almost all of my clients sell a high ticket product or service. And a lot of them were starting to get concerned and saying are people really still going to invest and spend money right now? And for my clients that made a slight pivot and just became a little bit more flexible, either in their payment plans, like they didn't necessarily lower their price, but they're getting more flexible in their payment plans, or they're adding other additional support that they can give to people right now during this time. And so my clients who've been able to get a little bit creative and kind of pivot and adjust their offers a little bit to meet people where they're at are having a huge amount of success right now, where their business is still strong and they're not hurting financially. And so that would be my other just word of advice is look at the offers that you have. Is there a way you can adjust them or add more support to people or be a little bit more flexible in your payment plan? I'm not saying that you need to take a 2-payment plan to a 12-payment plan or something. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying, like, is there a way that you can be a little bit more flexible? Because people are still spending money, but because they don't know how long this is going to last, they're kind of like, they're willing to spend, but then at the same time, they're like not going all in on like maybe a full pay. And some people are still doing that. But I think if you can meet people where they're at and just give them a little bit more flexibility there, that's working for a lot of my clients that are selling high ticket.
I feel like we need to have you back in about a week or 2 or 3, and then a week after that, and then probably a week after
Let's do
that.
a weekly update.
Yeah, exactly, right. Because this is obviously going to change. But Adrienne, thank you so much. I know you have to go. Remind everyone or tell everyone where they can learn more about you.
Yeah, so you could just go to wearepowerplay.com. I actually have a new website launching next week. I'm totally rebranding, so I'm excited about that. But that's the easiest way. Just go to my website and it'll tell you how to get in touch with me.
And you've had some amazing guests on your podcast so far. So whatever podcasting app you use to listen to, what are some of the guests that you've had? Do you want to share some of those?
Yeah. So you guys have been amazing. John and Jeremy produced my podcast and it's just been absolutely wonderful. I would not be doing a podcast if it weren't for you because it's just too much work and you do all the work for me. But I've had John Assaraf and Kendall Summerhawk, Emily Williams, Monica Shaw. Oh my goodness. Just so many great people that have been on there. And I actually have an episode coming out on Monday where we're going to be talking about how you can provide your customers with extra support right now during this time and creative ways you can do that. So you should definitely check that out. I'm interviewing Lydia on Monday and we'll be talking about that.
Excellent. Great. All right. So go check that out. Adrienne, I'll let you go. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, care. John. Be well, be safe, be healthy, everyone. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Smart Business Revolution podcast with John Corcoran. Find out more at smartbusinessrevolution.com. And while you're there, sign up for our email list and join the revolution. Revolution. And be listening for the next episode of the Smart Business Revolution podcast.